Hey everyone, I'm Will, and in this video I'm going to give you some quick tips to help you take better photos on your phone. Alright, so we're going to talk about 4 things: location, composition, light, and processing. Location. Now, location is everything when it comes to landscape and travel photography. The important thing though is not just to be in a beautiful scenic place, but actually take the time to soak up the surroundings and really kind of ask yourself, what is it that is speaking to me about this place? Try to narrow down a specific part of that grand scene that you can try and put into your photograph. So at our specific location, to me, there's kind of 3 things that are really speaking to me. I really like the wharf here on the lake. I love these beautiful mountains in the back with the light on them. And then over in this direction, we have the sun that's going down right now if the sun sets. So now that leads us into composition. So when it comes to composition, first and foremost, narrow down your main subject matter. Then the whole composition is going to be based around that. So for the moment, main subject matter is going to be the mountain range out here. Now all I need to do is find a way to frame that up, to lead the eye through the scene to that main subject. There's a couple of ways we can do that. One of the strongest things you can do in your images is to utilize leading lines, and these can be man-made or natural. A leading line is essentially a line within the scene that the eye will latch onto and follow to that main subject matter. So here we have the pier, the wharf. We even have the shoreline, which is leading in different directions. So utilizing leading lines. The other thing that you'll want to do is incorporate some kind of foreground. The whole point of that, one, there are leading lines in the foreground most often than not, but also it's going to create a dramatic sense of depth. So I could just simply get the water and the mountains here, but if I get down lower, I'm going to be able to incorporate rocks, then the water, then the mountains, adding more layers to the scene, which creates a sense of depth. It makes the viewer feel like they're right there looking at the scene with you. So let's do an example shot right here. If I hold the camera up high and just get the water, it's a very simple image. But as I come down lower, in this case, I'm now picking up the stones, and I've got those multiple layers to create that sense of depth. Another thing you can do is actually don't always get drawn right to the edge where the subject matter is. Look around at the entire scenery and you might be surprised what you can find. I'm seeing a few plants and ferns up there, so I'm going to pre-visualize how could that look if I'm over there getting those in the foreground. So the ferns work really well to create that depth. They're also pushing out into the background. The other consideration with composition is balance. If you have some strong subject matter on the left of the frame, try and have something on the right. Otherwise, you're going to create what's called a negative space, and the eye will just want to flow to that area that you've left the imbalance. So in this case, I've got these big ferns on the left. I'm just positioning myself so I have something else on the right, so we have a natural sense of symmetry going on. And that way, the eye will just flow straight through to the background. Our next consideration is light. Now, golden hour, sunrises and sunsets, you're going to get much softer light and more pronounced shadows. It's far more appealing on the eye. Try and get to your location around those times if you can. The other thing is, the eye is drawn to light. If you can get the brightest part of the image somewhere in the background where the main subject matter is, the eye is really just going to flow through there. So not only are we doing that with our composition, but we're using light to guide the eye. So preferably get a little bit of a darker foreground and have all that light in the background. And that's what we've got right here. We have the shoreline leading straight towards the sunset. The light's dropped off those mountains there, so I'm not even looking there anymore. I'm looking straight towards this beautiful sunset, and that's where the shot's going to be. All right, lastly, our processing. This is our editing. Now, you might not realize it, but your smartphone is automatically doing an edit for you, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to get it right. So don't be afraid to push that edit button and adjust your image. Make sure those horizons are straight. And if you need to, you can adjust the colors, the white balance, the exposure, and you can also adjust the exposure before you even take the image by simply tapping the screen and then sliding up and down. All right, everyone, I hope those tips helped. If you want to learn more, check out the link via the description below. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'll see you in the next video.